So this was the kind of rain that we were looking for to test the Mini 3 Pro with the wetsuit. I had already submerged it and found the weak links, and the weakest link has got to be the sensors. They burned out almost immediately, so I don't think it lasted maybe 3 seconds in the water. And so as soon as I discovered that, I realized that the wetsuit had to be a little bit more involved. And so that's exactly what I did. I gave this a little bit more love because it needed it. It needs more attention. But look at this footage of that rain coming down right on that camera. And I wasn't really sure that the camera was going to be able to, focus through it because it's just getting hit dead on. You've got no cover over the camera whatsoever. So this was interesting. The entire flight took about 30 minutes. And I didn't show it all because it's just the open sky. So the best part is to watch the rain coming down. And there's just no way around it. You can't fly this thing in the rain without a wetsuit, without the protection that it offers, not only on the bottom, but behind the gimbal, the vents, the open ports in the back. You have to have the wetsuit. There's just no way around it. So with the wetsuit, you've got some power. You've got a camera that can light up the sky and just hold its own in the rain. No matter how hard it was raining, the drone held, and we didn't get any warnings. I don't think any water got in the drone because we have a gimbal seal on the front and the back and the side, and we had the landing sensor protected on the bottom, so no drips can confuse it, and it's pretty solid. And the nice thing about the wetsuit is all the pieces are on the wetsuit itself, so it's not going to be one of those things where you have to go back to your bag and get a piece of the wetsuit. It's more that the wetsuit lays on top of the wetsuit, and you can peel off the tabs that you need based on the flying that you're going to do. So if you see it's going to rain or it's already raining, you'll just clip in the tab, and then when you're done with it, you'll put it right back on the wetsuit. So we're utilizing a special 3M adhesive that allows the wetsuit to stick on top of the wetsuit. Neoprene on top of neoprene, and it works really, really well. We used it in the Phantom 4, the Phantom 3, and it was very cohesive. We didn't have any issues with it even in the wind, so I trust it fully that it'll stay on the drone at all times. And then when you click it into place, you get yet another seal, so you're confident that it's not going anywhere, and it's going to do what it needs to do, which is protect that Mini 3 Pro from taking in water, because it seems like the minute that the water gets in the drone, the landing sensors just burn right out. You can't restart the drone after that. The battery is shot, the power button is shot, and you're not going to restart it. You probably need a whole new main board. So this isn't going to be one of those that comes in the water and comes out in spectacular fashion. Not like the Mini 2, where you could get away with it sometimes and not burn out the ESC module. But the landing sensor, that's a weak link. So that's why you're not going to be able to fly it in the rain at all. But you can see I'm up in the air. I'm going to stay up in the air for like 25 minutes here. But there's nothing happening. You can't see the rain anymore up here. There was lightning flashes, but no bolts. I went through frame by frame hoping to catch something, but there wasn't anything happening. But you can see I'm just shooting on auto, so you can still see the rain coming down if you look at the road. And it's like I always say, if you learn how to shoot in the rain, you don't even see the rain half the time. You just get a beautiful, clear picture. And you notice there's no fog, there's no condensation of any kind. And that's because that camera should be airtight if they did things right. And if there is fog and condensation, then you got to send it back. You can't mess around with it. You'll have issues forever. On every one of the drones that we have, we've gotten the airtight camera seal. And that's what allows it to shoot underwater for a few seconds before the transmission goes out. So I'm just looking for the lightning here, trying to capture something while I'm up there. I'm totally blown away with how hard it's raining and how the camera is handling the rain. I'm amazed. I expected that with that rain coming down on that camera, that it would just be a brutal picture, that you just wouldn't see much of anything. But it's the exact opposite. It looks magnificent. And all the other pictures that I've taken in the video have come out really nice. So the wetsuit's going to do its job. It's going to weigh a little bit more. People are going to be upset, but there's nothing I can do about it. There wasn't much room to work with for the UK clients. There was no way to keep this. It was impossible. So the weight had to escalate, and I took advantage of it. I didn't worry about the weight. I took it to 0.4 ounces, which is just a little heavier than the norm, but it's worth it because you get that absolute protection, and you're not going to want to fly in the extreme heat with the gimbal covered. You're not. And that's why I made it a tab. So you just take out the tab, stick it on top of the drone, and you're good to go for the next time you need to fly in the rain. And one of the things that you can do is, if it really is extremely hot, just go ahead and sprinkle your drone, rinse it, get it cool, and then fly your mission. If you're in a pinch, that's the best thing you can do. And the wetsuit's going to allow you to do that. And you're going to get confidence in it, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, just rinse off the drone. So that's the best way to keep it cool in this 110, 115 degree temperatures that we're having. If the flight was longer than 40 minutes, obviously you'd still struggle. But most flights are going to be within 30, 35 minutes. You're going to be landing before any issues take place, and you should be okay. So that's Cleveland in the background. That's Lake Erie to the right. I was really hoping to capture just one good lightning bolt. It would have just made the whole thing a lot nicer. But it just went on like this all night long. Just heavy, heavy rain. Then it would pause a little bit, and then heavy, heavy rain. And I got the best of it. So I'm always torn between capturing the lightning and showing what it looks like getting hit by the rain. So hopefully everyone can see that that the effort is there to show you guys how it reacts in the rain. So this is what it looks like on the outside perspective, just to give you an idea in case you really couldn't tell how hard it was raining. what it was really like. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's a nightmare outside, and I'm waking up. I'm dead tired. I don't have anything set up, no tripod. I'm just gonna lay my controller down and try to get this thing in the air and test it out, because this is the first hardcore rain that we've had to test out the Mini 3 Pro. Alright, just a couple things to review. The gimbal seal does not affect the camera in any way, whether it's going up, down, or sideways. That's number one. Number two, the ports in the back, the open ports are sealed with the battery cover, and there's a hinge. It's the same system that we used on the Phantom 4 that was so good. So I borrowed the 3M adhesive that we used on that and applied it to the Mini 3 Pro. You'll notice there's no leg covers on here, because at this point I was still trying to keep it as light as possible, but I did away with that thinking and just went ahead and made a nice wetsuit for the drone. For those that don't need to worry about the weight, 0.4 ounces isn't going to kill anybody. So I'm comfortable with the added weight on the drone to give it the extra protection that it needs to fly in this type of rain on a daily basis. So that wetsuit will protect it in environment conditions like this. And as long as it's raining or gonna rain, you shouldn't have any issues with overheating, because the flight isn't going to be longer than 40 minutes. You should be able to get away with that with no problem. In sport mode, it flew fantastic, nice and silent, no sensors to bother you, except when landing. And when you do have all the sensors on, the wetsuit stays completely out of the way. And when you're not using the tabs to seal the gimbal, those, as I mentioned earlier, they fit right on top of the drone. They're used in different ways, and they also stay out of the way. It's just a really nice, easy system to work with. We got away from the bands that we used on the Mini 2, and we utilized the hinge cover on the back, which in this case worked really, really well. Whereas with the Mini 2, the bands were much better for that drone. So that's it. At this point, I take it up in the air a couple hundred feet, and that's the footage that you've already seen trying to capture the lightning bolt. And as stated, we'll make them in black, lunar purple, rescue red, and neon blue.
Yeah, let's take you up in the air.